are jumping in. Daybreak, our first map in this best-of-5 finals. And if anything is to be judged from Grubby's past series in this tournament, as well as Sting's actually, this is going to be pretty explosive.
It is going to be crazy. It's going to be back and forth and probably going to go to 5 games because I was looking at bracket. Almost every match this weekend has gone to 5 games. This has been such a close tournament.
It really has, and I mean, I wouldn't have liked it any other way, I gotta say. We've had some insane comebacks. We've had some great just single games themselves, and with Sting and Grubby going up against one another here, I'm not expecting anything less.
Yeah. All right, well, we have started the game. Let's get in it. I am so pumped. Both these players, this is a huge moment.
Really is, though. So let's get into it, guys. The first game between Grubby and Sting as we load up onto Daybreak. So, indeed, we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. Ladies and gentlemen of Singapore, give it up for Grubby. And spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our red Terran, recently joining Western Wolves. Give it up for Sting! And you know, Artosis,
yes.
Actually, this is technically my second time in Asia after being in China previously for the PWC, so it's kind of, you know, all meshed into one time in Asia.
Sure.
And actually, being here in Singapore, actually seeing how much passion that these fans have out here is absolutely fantastic.
I know it. Guys in the audience, give yourself a round of applause. You have been great today.
So good.
I've gotten to meet so many of these Singaporean fans and other fans from the region that have actually come here just to watch this tournament, and they have been nothing short of awe-inspiring in their passion and dedication to the wonderful, wonderful world of esports.
It's been fantastic. So, guys, we are in game number 1 right now. Sting is going for command center first. Actually, I'm loving this opening here on Daybreak to kick things off against Grubby.
It's a good choice. If you look at what Sting has done in the past, he cheeses versus Protoss. Yeah. He does weird builds all the time against everyone, but against Protoss, this guy still 1-1-1s a lot, lots of Hellion drops, lots of crazy timing all-ins. But to open with this is a strong, economical opening that Grubby may not be expecting here.
Yep, he scouts him out, sees everything that's going on behind this. Grubby, meanwhile, will just probably play his own normal game as he's going down for his Nexus after Gateway, so not even going up to that cybernetic score. Realizing his opponent wants to play a bit more of an economical game, he's going to play one too.
Well, it's a good choice. He's got to get that command center up ASAP. Look at this. He's going to get the... Oh, no! Grubby just barely loses that SCV. He knows that was a blunder. That's not a good way to start the series. That can get under your skin sometimes. Yeah, just that probe loss there. Lack of a little bit of micro, but still Sting right now going to head into his opponent's main base, have a look around, see the cybernetic score going down, as well as already seeing that Nexus. So from here on out, Sting also knows his opponent isn't going to be going for something too crazy in terms of the aggression. Yeah. So he might hold off on like that bunker for just a little bit. Well, you know, Grubby right now, he's going to go normally from here, I feel. You know, he's going to go ahead, get his robo and a couple more gates up, and try to figure out what's going on. But what will Sting do? Because I feel like he always tries to take an advantage in one way or the other. Never plays straight down the center. Super early on is what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. It can be scary. It can be scary. I mean, there's a few things that Terrans can actually go for. Like, you know, even a lot of barracks early on this map can be very strong because of the way in which the chokes actually work on Daybreak. There's 2 chokes for you to cover there going into your natural. So you can send Marines around the side in the long way and actually really catch your opponent off guard sometimes. That is so true. And with this third barracks going up, I wonder if Sting's going to do the old school style of walking your Marines around the map and trying to get in behind your opponent, who may not have enough time then to micro with his Stalkers to defeat those Marines easily. To try to get, you know, maybe a sentry kill, a few probe kills, that type of thing. Yeah, anything that you can grab there with just minerals, even if it's just probes, which technically, yes, cost minerals, but they're also the opportunity cost of them mining as well. All of these little pickoffs that you can get with Marines is so nice for the Terran. And meanwhile, we have him going for that bunker, just keeping himself nicely bolstered. Yeah. All right, so Grubby is going into 3 gates while Sting kind of staying a little bit normal. Yeah, he's making a lot of Marines right now, but he's gotten his 2 gases, getting that tech lab as well, even getting a bunker. So he's playing it a little bit more normal than we're used to seeing from him.
I love this rallied Marine. This is something a few of the European Terrans do, but it's just such a good way of keeping an eye on what's going on down there. It's 50 minerals cost. Who really cares about that, as opposed to knowing if your opponent's going to get some crazy, crazy aggression, put a probe down there with some pylons.
That's a very good point, I have to say. And even if a probe goes into scout, you can catch him and perhaps deny a scout of a possible third base that you may have snuck up quickly or something like that.
It's a very, very good points. Right now, back at home, Grubby just going for the robo. He wants that observer and he wants to see what his opponent's doing back at home. He wants to see, you know, when engineering bays are going down. He wants to see if his opponent's teched up to starport yet, if he's really rushing to that. He also wants a good idea of the barracks count as well, just so he can keep himself also quite nicely stable.
Yeah. Right, well, Grubby getting a couple more gases, getting his observer as well right now. He has 5 stalkers already, so he's playing it really, really safe at the moment, and I wonder if he's going to go into Twilight Council because of this. You know, when you get that many gateway units early on, a lot of times you want to get the good upgrades for them, whether it's Blink, get some charge, and then tech up to High Templars. But we're going to have to wait and see. Oh, a double forge coming down for Grubby.
Well, I mean, with that double forge, you can almost guarantee that that eventually is going to be followed up by a Twilight Council in around the 2 or 3 minute mark once those upgrades start pumping. So he's getting a Robo Bay. He's playing this so stereotypically in terms of Protoss versus Terran. And as such, I mean, it's a great way to play it, right? Double forge, get those upgrades going. It's a nice way.
Yeah, and in fact, ooh, nice force here. He doesn't want him to go up and see that there's actually Colossus Tech and Double Forge on the way. So, you know, with that, he's going to have a very stable opening. But he's going to have to decide, does he stay on Colossus or does he switch it up immediately off of one Colossus into Psystorm? Because that is the big choice.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is as the Protoss, you can even just say, I'm going to hold off Thermal Lance for a bit. I'm going to show you the one Colossus. You're going to start producing Vikings.
Yes.
And then that mind game becomes so evident in if your opponent is going to overproduce. Any more than 4, 6 Vikings at that point, or even the 4 or 6 is kind of an overstatement as well, actually.
Yeah. And, yeah, in fact, against one unranged Colossus, you probably, I mean, if you get 2 Vikings, I'm almost surprised. I feel like the medevacs are actually more worthwhile. So we'll see what he does there. He's already got that Colossus halfway done, adding some more gateways as well, starting to put up some pylons to see any incoming drops. And this is where it gets exciting, guys, right here. We're going to have Sting moving out in a moment. He's going to figure out what Grubby has, and then he's going to make his choice. Does he make another command center, or does he throw up another starport to maybe try to hit a kill timing?
Yeah, Sting is moving out right now. He's going to move into the middle of the map, but chances are as soon as he sees that first Colossus, he'll turn right back around. He has 2 options. Either control phenomenally, snipe out the Colossus, or just turn around and go home. Because if you don't, then you are going to get slaughtered by the Colossus.
That is right. All right, so right now Grubby is just turtling pretty hard here, and that's going to be fine because Sting isn't going for any more economy. He hasn't added anything else, such as another command center in his 3rd base area. So, you know, he is just powering up with a big army right now. Now, when he sees the Colossi, will he add the second starport? I feel like he will. I feel like he's maybe going to go for that very Viking-heavy attack.
No, you're right. Just watching the way Sting has played this out and how he was playing in the TSL4 as well, it sort of kind of makes sense, right? He's an aggressive player. He likes to be in an aggressive stance. He likes to put his opponent on the back foot. And right now he's moving out. He's actually macroed so well off these 2 bays. 4 to supply up almost on Grubby. Grubby is spreading himself in terms of the upgrades and all of the buildings, but still, this is going to be a little difficult.
Yeah, Thermal Lance not quite done. Oh, Grubby losing a few units here almost for free. But Sting has to be careful of these force fields, starting to push in a little bit. And at home, he's adding his 2nd starport. So Sting has made his decision. He's going to make a lot of Vikings, but will he do the SCV pull with it?
And that could come to fruition here. We have Grubby for now just poising himself, trying to get himself in a defensive-minded location. With 2-2 on the way, if the push is delayed by that time, then he's going to have a really nice base for his upgrades, and his army is going to be considerably stronger as well with those Zealots tanking so much damage.
Well, you know, Grubby right now, how much scouting does he really have around the map? He hasn't seen if there's going to be a 3rd. He doesn't really have an observer out there to see what's going on. So, you know, I feel like what he has to do right now is add a Templar Archives, but hold on This is a big draw.
Oh, there's a cannon already there. Sting realizes he pulls back. Grubby knew it was coming as well. He moved his Stalkers, or at least positioned them for just a little second there. Meanwhile, we have 3 Vikings on the way at any given time right now for Sting. So he's producing a very, very strong counter-offensive to what we're seeing here from Grubby right now. And Grubby, I feel, at this point, has to switch. Oh, but that drop is actually going to be able to breach.
Yeah, that drop is coming into Grubby's main base right now, and this is an issue because Grubby's main army is down here. Well, that drop is doing huge damage, going after that robotics that had a Colossus halfway done. Uh-oh, this is a huge amount of damage being done to Grubby.
Oh, he's actually going to evacuate those Colossi. Could have potentially been caught out of position by that bio, but he decides to play safe. He decides to play cool. He knows he has his 3rd command center. There's always that sketchy moment for the Protoss where you're bringing the Colossus back from the front. They go there quicker because they can cliff walk, and then sometimes the drop can snipe them out, but it didn't happen here.
No, it did not. You know what? The way Grubby's playing this, he actually went up to 8 gates and was making a Colossus. I think he was going for an 8-gate 4 Colossus timing, but losing that very important robo, he started charge, he's getting 3-3, and he's going for that Templar Archives. Grubby, for certain right now, is behind.
Yeah, he really is. He needs to try and somehow recuperate his losses here. It's kind of a little difficult with Sting having such a big army right now. He has 7 medevacs, 24 Marauders, and 39 Marines, all going up to 43 right now. So Storm is on the way. He's getting 3-3, and I guess the timing is where Storm finishes and Charge finishes for him to try and really, really ramp up some pressure.
I do wonder if he's going to go in for that attack. I could see Grubby staying back and just saying, all right, you know, Colossus, perfect upgrades, Psy Storm. Maybe he takes another Nexus. He is taking the 3rd already, of course, but he could take that 4th, set up a good perimeter to stop drops, and play the long macro game.
It's true, but I think realistically looking at it, unless Sting has as phenomenal like late game TVP as like Empire Happy, for example, in the European scene, then it's gonna get worse and worse for Sting. So I feel as if he needs to make something happen when he's maxed out right now. He's accruing a bank, and if he can put on some hurt against Grubby here, he'll be in a much better position than letting it go.
That is for certain. All right, he is moving around right now. He's making his Ghost Academy at home, getting a couple more command centers. By the way, his 2-2 is going to finish after the 3-3 Grubby, so he's going to be down in upgrades no matter what. But this may not be the best time to actually hit.
Storm is finishing up in just a little second here. I think he might be able to get the cancel on that Nexus, and that is going to be a big deal here. Sting moving around, poising himself, doing such a good job of limiting Grubby right now.
Well, this is looking rougher and rougher for Grubby. I mean, he's got his Psy Storm now. He's about to have 3-3. This is the timing he needs to move out and do something against Sting's army.
Yeah, he does. He really does. There's a Zealot now moving out, trying to spot exactly what's going on here. A few more Stalkers moving down to try and claim his 3rd once again. But, you know, you're in a bad situation when you're trying to claim a 3rd around the 17-minute mark here against the Terran, who has already had the 3rd and has a 4th and 5th command center landing. Wow! Yeah,
he has not even scouted this yet. So this is a big issue right now for Grubby. And another forced cancel. I'm feeling more and more like Grubby just has to go all in with this army.
Yeah, Grubby is just so far behind right now. He tries to throw Storm's force fields and everything to deal with this. And actually, the longer this goes on right now for Grubby, because he's in such an economical deficit, once these ghosts come out, and then this mid to late game that we currently experience then switches in the favor of Sting, and Grubby, unless he can get the economic going, is going to be in a terrible spot.
He certainly is. All right, he's maxed out right now, Claris. He's moving out. There's no longer a contain. This next engagement is so likely to determine the outcome of this game. Grubby has 7 High Templars and 3 Colossi. Ghosts are just now popping out for his opponent, so let's see how this goes.
He's catching a lot of those Zealots very, very quickly there. The SCV's coming off the line as well. He just wants to bring down the Colossus. If he can do, he should be in a good shape. But actually, there's not that many Vikings left over, and the Zealots try and tank as much as they can do. But they're all pinned up against the Planetary Fortress here. That Planetary Fortress dealing out so much damage, so close in terms of supply right now. But Grubby has to pull back. Fantastic control there by Sting.
Really well done with these Archons and Sentries left. He's trying to fight, but this is way too many units, and Sting running forward snipes that Colossus off and will kill off most of the rest of his army. Grubby in a terrible spot. At this point, he's only mining off of 1 base.
Chasing him down right now with that bio army. Technically, both players don't have too much of an income here. 47 workers to 60. But right now, I mean, nice Storm there actually trying to pull Grubby back into this. So actually, 47 SCVs across this many bases is really not that much.
No, it is pretty low. You're right. But he's got how many command centers now? He just went up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something. I don't know. It's a lot of command centers, okay? He has planetaries up as well, so he can't really be attacked because all the Colossi are dead. And Sting is going to be able to regain his economy, whereas Grubby going to have a harder time of it.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there is that potential that it could stabilize. Nice snipes. They're actually catching one of the High Templar. Nice feedbacks as well, draining all of the energy. Grubby feels like he might have to push in at that point with getting that advantage, but still there's too much bio there. He can't push in against that with not really that much AoE damage.
Seriously, he keeps warping in charge lots, which are obviously a very good and powerful unit in the matchup, but with that, he has to make High Templars, and those High Templars are getting sniped over and over and over. He needs splash damage to actually connect, and if he can't do it, he will die.
Yeah, the Grubby here has... He's trying to stabilize. He's trying to grab himself that income. Meanwhile, Sting back at home, he's getting his 3-3 out very soon. He's mixing in more and more ghosts. And as that count rises, as that potential for, you know, Cloak comes in, and the fact that Grubby actually only has one observer, if he can snipe that out, Cloak Ghosts become a real pest in the big engagements.
That's right. Oh my god, a nice run up and snipe here by Sting. Grubby warping in more units, but I don't know if it'll be enough. There's a lot of medevacs here, and it looks like this army is gonna be picked off. Grubby's supplies falling below 100.
Yeah, just not enough AoE damage at all. The Zealots were good and dandy in terms of tanking, but when it comes to the DPS, there you go, GG for game number 1. Sting takes that 1-0 lead.
I tell you, Sting playing against his own style that we've seen previously in tournaments, doing a great job there in game 1 against Grubby.
He really did, guys. So let's send it over to the analysis desk where they can give us a little bit of a rundown as to what happened right there.
So really a fantastic game number 1 there. Sting going 1-0 up over Grubby. And that was actually a pretty entertaining game 1. Blisk, why don't you talk us through the openings that were used and the kind of builds that our players were trying to go through?
So Sting started off with a command center first, and then Grubby couldn't get any units across the map so fast because it was daybreak. It's a very long rush distance.
Yeah.
So he decided to take probes off gas and then go for a Nexus faster himself.
Sure.
And then Sting followed up with a Turax. And Grubby probably thought that there was pressure coming after the Turax, after the 15 command center, because, well, he knows that Sting is a very aggressive player. So he overmade Stalkers, which delayed his tech by a lot.
And we actually saw a little bit later on in the game as well, there was a really nice attack sort of coming in towards the natural, and then also simultaneously a big drop in the main. Pig, you saw that, and that was a pretty big moment there.
That was really perfect. As we were watching that, Blisk was saying it would be really nice if he picked up and dropped here while hitting at the front.
Yeah.
And Sting just did it perfectly. He went in, he sniped the Robo. He didn't overextend though. He sniped the Robo while pressuring at the front, taking out some Zealots, and then picking up and escaping without losing anything. Getting ahead for absolutely no loss. So that was really fantastic play from him there.
Yeah, and from that point onwards, of course, Sting, do you think do you think it's better to keep up the aggression at that point? Do you sit back and sort of just keep going? Like, what happened from there? How did the game evolve from Sting's point of view?
I think he played it really nicely. He actually delayed his Vikings for a very long time in order to just have this big, massive bio out on the map. And he was just constantly out there, making sure Grubby was uncomfortable, going in and sniping the third base once he was maxed. And at this point, Grubby, he had the tech advantage. He had Colossus, he had Psystorm, he had this great composition with 3-3 against just the 2-2 upgrades, and yet he was forced into doing a very big counterattack because he was on 2 base against Sting, who was just covering his side of the map with expansion. So if we hop into the replay now, we can just take a look at this one key engagement where Grubby counterattacked and had to do fatal damage with that attack.
All right, so, ooh.
Oh, slow that down. And here he comes in with this engage. There's only one ghost out on the map, but Grubby whiffs 2 storms completely there. He only has 4 storms total, and then his Zealots are stuck behind each other in this engage. The Planetary Fortress finishes mid-engage, and a lot of the Zealots waste their time attacking that. Meanwhile, Sting's spread is absolutely perfect in this engagement, and he just cleans up Grubby's superior army through perfect positioning and control.
That's a great point you have there. And I actually want to touch on something you just mentioned, Pig, because Blisk, you mentioned this earlier on in the game. Sting got to 200-200 pretty quickly there in that game, and then you looked at it and thought, hang on a second, this composition's a little bit off.
Yeah, exactly. He maxed out really fast with a lot of bio units, but then he was lacking on ghosts, and Grubby already had so many high Templars with Storm, with 3-3 out, and with no ghosts against a Protoss army with higher upgrades. It is very hard to fight as a Terran. So that attack was actually very, very dangerous from Grubby, but he didn't use the one thing that was to his advantage at that point, which was the Storms, as well as his Zealots, which he attacked into a planetary fortress. Just Sting positioned so well, dodged so many Storms, and that's how he probably won the game.
All right, guys, so that's going to be it for game number 1 here from the analysis desk. Let's get into game number 2 with Kalaris and Artosis.